Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off, online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. So welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack. In today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender Cale Morris. Cale has entered his third season of professional hockey in the American Hockey League with the Chicago Wolves after spending the beginning of his pro career with the Rockford Icehogs of the AHL and the Indy Fuel in the Chicago Blackhawks organization. Cale has spent time in the AHL and the ECHL, so he's a well-seasoned veteran in those leagues. So, but prior to turning pro, Cale spent time in the United States Hockey League for juniors, playing 4 years of NCAA Division I college hockey for Notre Dame Fighting Irish, where he also was an assistant captain his senior year. So this is going to be a really fun episode. Looking forward to having you on. So welcome to the show, Cale Morris.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. I'm excited to talk with you here and just dive into it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've glad that we got some time, especially like with training camp and everything starting back up. You just finished day 4 of training camp. So how's everything been with getting into the swing of things, especially with a new team with the Wolves?
Yeah, coming to a new organization, you kind of have to meet a lot of new guys at the early couple of days there. So starting to build some connections there. Everyone's been great so far, and it's good to get back in the competition mode there, practice, so get some meaningful skates. And so it's been a great week so far, and looking to play some games this weekend.
Yeah, so how excited are you to start? Like, you've been with the Blackhawks organization the last 2 years, so like how excited are you to get into a new organization in the Wolves and just get the season started, like you said?
Yeah, it's very exciting times. I enjoyed my 2 years there with the Blackhawks organization, but like many pro athletes will tell you, sometimes you just need a new scenery, new opportunity. So I'm looking forward to taking advantage of the opportunity here in Chicago with the Wolves, and just looking to help the team any way I can.
Yeah, so do you have any expectations going into the season, or you just to get comfortable with everything and just see where everything takes you, especially since it is a new team for you?
Yeah, I think just kind of day by day, it's everyone kind of you can look at the numbers and stuff, but I try to stay away from that. Don't look too deep into it, because you never know what's going to happen. Injuries are inevitable in this sport. So a bump here or there for any guy could change the depth chart top to bottom. So for me, it's just kind of going to the rink every day and just trying to get better and make my teammates better. So that's kind of the main focus this year, and just keep improving the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like you couldn't have said it better. Like in hockey, like everything changes day to day. Like an injury a call up could happen. Like an injury happens, like you could be the next guy up. You could be like on the depth chart and like keep moving your way up. But like you never know what what could happen. It's like, how do you keep like that mindset of just like to not overthink anything, especially when like stuff can happen and you could be up one day and then down the next day?
Yeah, I think something I learned the last 2 years in Rockford and the Blackhawks organization, because last year I was up on the taxi squad for a while down in Rockford, down in Indy. So for me coming into this year, I'm just trying to stay prepared and just kind of stick to the things I can control, like my daily habits, my routines I do, um, just my mindset going to the rink every day. So just kind of trying to be the best version of myself every day. And then when the opportunity comes, know that I've kind of put in the work and I've prepared myself for success, opposed to just waiting, hoping something happens. And then you're like, oh boy, something came up, like let's scramble here and try and make the most of it. Instead, I'm trying to do the approach of just, putting the work behind the scenes. And then when that opportunity comes, make the most of it.
Yeah. So like, would you say like, I know like the first like year or so you have to learn about like how to be a pro. So is that like what you have done these last 2 years in Rockford and with the Hawks and the Fuel is just learn how to be a pro and then just take like those daily habits like you've been saying and just try and like get that to like be daily and just keep going from there?
Yeah, I think I kind of learned how to be a pro a little bit at Notre Dame there. The coaching staff there prepared you for kind of the next level hockey. So I got a good foundation there at Notre Dame, but then you get to pros and it's a whole different mindset, because you have so much extra time. It's at first you kind of fall into the trap of, oh, I'll just play video games all day. And then next thing you know, it's like, wow, like I've kind of wasted a little bit of time there. So just trying to find the things that work for everyone. Everyone's going to be different, and just find that routine day in, day out to get the most out of the day, but still enjoy and relax your time and, enjoy and reap the benefits of being a professional athlete while you can.
Yeah, and like following like that routine like gets you game ready, practice ready, and like once you go to the rink, you know what you have to do, and like you're just gonna just go through like your routines and your whatever your superstitions if you have it or whatever, and just be ready for practice and be ready for your job.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like it just gives me a good peace of mind. I know going to the rink, it's like, all right, I prepare myself in the off season, prepare myself day in and day out to be successful, and just kind of gives me that peace of mind that I don't have to worry in the back of my mind, like, oh boy, I wish I would have done something else, or wish I would have prepared a little harder, or stuff like that. And I mean, even the diet, you got to be pretty careful what you put in the body for the next day and everything. So just having that peace of mind going into the rink every day, like, all right, I'm at the top of my game right now, feeling great. So just kind of ride that, and it gives me some good mental clarity to get to the rink and just be all business at that point.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to come up with like a routine that like will make you successful? Because I know it took me quite a few years to figure out what makes me successful when it comes to practicing games. Like how long did it take you to figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, I still think I'm even trying to figure it out. I think day to day, like stuff, if I feel good one day, I might have done something a little different. It's not superstitious or anything. It's just trying to maximize my effort and maximize my body and mindset. So it's definitely a working process here, but the last kind of year or so, I've kind of figured out some stuff to take away from my lifestyle choices and stuff like that, and some other stuff to add. So I think it's just always working on the craft there, just to try and maximize everything.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there because like everything is like no matter what your profession is, like you're learning stuff new every day. You're just
Yeah,
trying to figure everything out still. So, but like you know what makes you successful and what doesn't, but like you're still like trying to like balance all that and like put everything into what will like make that 100% successful instead of just maybe 99%.
yeah. I always think of the analogy that you're climbing the mountain, but there's never a top there. So you're just kind of always trying to work, one step forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So then you talked about diet too. So like for me, like diet and like sleep are probably two of the most important things to being a successful athlete. So like how important would you say like diet is? Just put like you said, putting everything into your body well, and then as well as like sleeping, because like sleeping does sleeping is magic, especially when you get like that 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Like you're feeling good and like your performance goes up a whole new notch when you are rested.
Absolutely. I mean, I think especially when you get to the high levels here, recovery is almost more important than like the work in the gym and everything like that. So if you're taking care of your body, it's gonna reap the benefits there on the ice. So early in the summer I can kind of relax on the diet, enjoy some pizza and tacos and stuff like that, which I love. But once it's kind of business time to get back in that hockey mindset, flip the switch and get pretty dialed in there. And I mean, body feels great and everything, so you can definitely tell the difference when you're kind of dialed in on your diet and sleep habits and stuff. And even hydration is another big one, opposed to when you're kind of just slacking and letting loose a little bit. But there's a fair balance. You can't be all business all the time, so it's just kind of finding that balance too.
Yeah, there's times where you can throw some beers down and just not drink a lot of water, but like hydration is key. But especially close to the season, just all hydration, no beer.
Right. Yeah. So keeping her tight here, gotta be pretty dialed there. But definitely time for some beers with the boys during the season, and just finding that right time and balance to still enjoy being a guy and just being a professional athlete. So it's just always working on the balance there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But then going into like your first 2 years here, a little bit here in 2020, 2021 during like the pandemic season, you got a shot with the Rockford Icehogs in the American League, where you played in 7 games, going 2-3. So like, what was that whole process like, especially since we're in a weird time at that time with the pandemic and everything, just to get signed in Rockford?
Yeah, it was crazy. So the pandemic happened at the end of my senior year in college. All hockey across just came to an abrupt end there, and in college your senior year, you kind of expect to finish the season and then sign a pro contract and normally end the year in the AHL, kind of getting your toes wet for the pro game there. But it was a long off season, and then going into the season in January with only, it was 25 or 30 games, no playoffs. More of a developmental year, which I didn't mind because it gave me a taste of the pro game without having too much pressure there. So it was a good little learning curve. And then last year, still dealing with kind of the tail end of COVID there with the taxi squad and stuff. So it's, I think the biggest thing was just pro hockey. You never know what's going to happen. Just like in life, stuff can change dramatically, and in a couple weeks. So it's just kind of just rolling with the punches there, and just never too high, never too low, I guess, just day by day.
Yeah, I like how you said like the development year, because that's essentially what it was. And like a lot of people like would be like, I would think would be like, oh, there's no playoffs, like there's not a lot of pressure or anything, so like just go into that year and develop and get that experience at the AHL level. Like, what was that experience like, of just being able to be in a pro locker room, in American Hockey League locker room, and just like go through like that first year of, or that first like that first year of I don't know what to call it, that first year of pro
Right.
hockey, to just be in Rockford?
Yeah, it was cool because the Blackhawks organization did a great job with the development. They had their skills development guys down there multiple times a week, so we had plenty of ice time, plenty of opportunity to put in the hours on the ice. So that was fun, just be on the ice every day in that environment, with a lot of other great players. So it definitely made you rise to the occasion and push yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get exposed at those next levels. So day in and day out, you got to kind of bring it to the rink every day. Otherwise, you're gonna have a tough practice.
Yeah, so like you went 2-3 during that year. So like, what was it like to get that first professional win out of the way, especially like since like you had to wait all the way until January to start the season?
Yeah, it was exciting. I know, obviously a little nervous just going into that game, but I think it's good to be nervous sometimes, because that means you
Yeah.
care, and there's a little bit of pressure on the line there. So just controlling those jitters and just staying in the moment. But yeah, I mean, every chance I've had to play a game in the AHL has been fun and exciting. It's an awesome league. It's really challenging. There's some incredibly highly skilled players in this league. The game happens so fast, so it's just kind of letting the chaos happen and then everything come to you. So it was a fun year for sure.
Yeah, so like, what do you think that transition was like, from going from Division 1 at Notre Dame to being in the American Hockey League? Like, what was the biggest differences you noticed from the start?
I think just the depth of teams, like top to bottom, guys can fire the puck, guys can
Yeah.
make plays, guys are seeing the game so quick. So just you got to be on your game at all times. We're in college. There was times you're like, all right, this top line, we can shut the top two lines down, then we'll be able to handle the other guys. So just always being aware there, and then just the speed of things. Everything happens so fast, but I don't mind that because I feel like one of my strengths is reading the game. So if I kind of try and stay a little one step ahead of everyone. So just but there's definitely a learning curve, and just trying to slow everything down mentally to use it to my advantage.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, how do you use like your advantage of reading the play well? Like, what helped you like develop that like reading the play? Like, would it be just watching games constantly, like going on like different resources like YouTube and all that, just watching highlights, just seeing like where plays could happen, like potential plays that can happen to just stay that one step ahead?
Yeah, I think just I try to watch a lot of hockey, but not be too crazy and analyze
Yeah,
everything. It's just more just reading and reacting, but also kind of analyzing depth and analyzing threats. If a guy is going to catch a hand on his back or catch a pass on his backhand, I know like, all right, I got a split second to get over there because he's not going to be able to wire it off his backhand. So just kind of attaining all the information I can and just doing as much kind of pre-shot work I can so that when those shots come in the high danger areas, I feel like I have enough information around me to know if I can grab some ice or if I need to stay back because there's maybe a backdoor threat and stuff like that. So just kind of gaining as much information I can and put in the work before the shot or pass comes. It's been something that I've found some success on.
yeah. So like reading the blade, reading how fast the play is coming, just where guys are around the net, like if there's a backdoor threat, like you said, or just someone's gonna be one timing it from Ovechkin's office, just anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Even just body position, or even like if they're standing still at this top of the circles, I know I can almost be at my goal line and trust my eyes and feet that if he's
Yeah.
standing there in a dead stop position, like he can wire it as hard as he can. And I believe in myself to make that stop, opposed to if he's coming flying down the wing, I'm gonna have to grab some ice because he's gonna probably have a quicker release there. So I want to take away that angle. So it's just all those little things I've kind of learned throughout my career that I feel like have given me some benefits here in the pro game.
Yeah, and that's another big thing is having confidence and belief in yourself, like especially like with everything you do in the off season, like from the off season, like what you do, you train, you're practicing in the off season, you're the equipment you're wearing, like just trusting everything and believing in yourself. Like it could take you, it's amazing how it could take you to a whole nother level when you're confident in yourself and you're just able to have that belief in yourself, even when things might not be going right all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I think playing like mentally free and just like you're saying, trusting your instincts and trusting kind of the foundation you put in the off season to know that you've prepared as well as you can just gives you that peace of mind that you can just go out and play at the end of the day, because you don't want to go onto the ice and be a mental case and just be worried about everything. Otherwise, you're gonna do more harm to yourself than success. So just try and play mentally clear and just kind of let the game come to me and just play and have fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, like you said, just go out there, have fun because you're playing the best sport in the world. And if you're not having fun, then why are you playing?
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah, but then last year you spent time in the National Hockey League, the American League, and the ECHL and the East Coast Hockey League. So you played 19 games with the Indy Fuel in the coast. Like what was your time like in Indy, especially like a few years ago? Like you wouldn't think that Indy would be considered a hockey city, but it's pretty good hockey in Indianapolis there, and like their atmosphere there is have I went to one game at the Farmers Coliseum or whatever it's called, and it's a good atmosphere.
Oh, absolutely. I love my time in Indy. It's awesome. We had a great group of guys. The facilities are wonderful. The community really backs the hockey team there. So it was an awesome place to play, a lot of fun, and feel pretty fortunate for that to be my first taste of the East Coast Hockey League. To have such a great experience and a group of guys and coaching staff that made it an easier transition than I'm sure some guys have had when getting sent down. So I enjoyed my time there, and it's just all part of the learning curve and part of the career path and just part of the story.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of the journey. Like whether you're in the NHL, the AHL, the ECHL, getting called up and down constantly, like that's part of the journey and what makes like when you look back at it, like what makes the journey like worth it and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, everyone kind of ends their hockey career, regardless of what age you're at. But those relationships you build and those memories you have on and off the ice are the things that kind of stick with you forever. So it was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you were up and down with Rockford and Indy a lot during last season. It's like what was that balance like of just being able to just stay like that even keel, like you have been saying, just like having like that mental clarity of just being free.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely took its toll on me when it first occurred in that first couple month or so. Just kind of, I mean, professional hockey, it's that first kind of taste of it being a business where obviously Notre Dame was there for 4 years. I played a lot. Was very fortunate to have that opportunity there, and then you get the pros, and it's like, oh wow, like you kind of forget it's a business, and teams are doing stuff that they think is best for the business, and so it was a taste of the pro life, but I think it also gave me an opportunity to realize that early on in my professional career, and being able to adapt to that and just learn from that and learn that it's going to happen, and bounces will happen regardless of sometimes even how you're playing or stuff off and on the ice. So I think just rolling with the punches and just trying to make the most of the opportunity day in and day out was something that I kind of came away with that, even though at the start there it was definitely rough at times, because you never want to not so much get sent down, but just change of scenery and stuff like that is never kind of what you hope for going into a year.
Yeah, it's all about the growth, all about the growth, like especially like going into your like first like official like pro year, since it was like a full year. So like you were able to just experience whatever everything you did in the beginning of the season, and then throughout the rest of the season you learn a lot throughout the way, and you're like, like you get like the realities of pro hockey and all that. So it's like easier to, no, I wouldn't say easier, but like you can like maintain that balance of just, even if you get sent down, like just take that opportunity to play games and just roll with it and like
Yeah.
impress people, and then just get called back up and do the same thing over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you never know who's watching. You never know who's in the stands or what's going on with other guys. I mean, injuries, like we said earlier, happen. So I think going into this year, I know regardless of where I'm at, the majority, whatever happens, I know that I'm just going to kind of keep my eyes down and just go to work every day and just make the most of the opportunity when it comes, and just kind of keep on just working on my own games. At the end of the day, it's me versus me. It's not
Yeah.
looking at other guys like, oh, like I'm better than this guy. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what that is, because you just got to kind of try and be better than you were yesterday and just always kind of work on your own game.
Yeah, exactly. 100% agree with you there. But you also spent time with the Blackhawks with the taxi squad. So what was that experience like? Especially like I've heard like positive things about it, but I've also heard like negative things. Like you're not playing, so you're not getting games or anything, but you're practicing with the teams. Like what was all that experience like, especially since the taxi squad is a new thing?
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. It gave me that taste of the NHL lifestyle, and the private flights, the nice hotels, all those perks that the NHL guys get. So it was a fun experience. And then, like you said, being on the ice with like Patrick Kane, Seth Jones, even Marc-Andre Fleury, who's an incredible guy, incredible goalie. It was definitely experience that won't take for granted, and learned a lot from it. But like you're saying, it's almost a double-edged sword there, because as a third goalie there with the NHL schedule, the teams are traveling a bunch, so you're just kind of getting the cleanup duty there. So not a lot of quality practice time, obviously no games. So um, it was fun to be around, but at the same time, it left me wanting more, because I wasn't getting that kind of quality ice time that I've been accustomed to in college life. And but I wouldn't change it. I learned a lot of great things, made some good relationships up there, and had a blast.
Yeah. So who had the hardest shot that you faced when you're up with the Hawks?
Oh boy. I mean, all those guys have absolutely lethal shots there. I mean, at the end of the day, Kaner, just his deception with his his shot and he can just place anywhere. You know, it's not the hardest shot, but he's just got such a quick release and such a deceptive shot that you're just like going in, you know, he's like, all right, I know he's going to shoot. I don't know where he's going to shoot. And I know it's probably going to go in. So let's see if it can hit me, you know?
Yeah, and like, but you learn so much from guys like that, especially like as you like go on throughout the year, like you learn their releases a little bit better, and like you're able to read the shot a little bit more to at least like make a better like percentage save for you instead of just having it go whiz past you every time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think another thing with the taxi squad is going to the rink every day. I was like, all right, like, I don't know if I'm going to get 5 shots this day or if I'm going to get 100. So let's just make sure every time I'm in that net, like it's game 7 Stanley Cup final here, OT, like be as dialed as you can. And I felt like my game elevated at that point just because I was seeing those quick releases, quick plays and stuff. So I had to really be at the top of my game there, even if I was just getting 5-10 minutes of work a day. So that was fun to be able to compete with those guys and you know, hang in there.
Yeah, it's amazing how like when you do face like when you go up levels and like the competition just keeps getting better and better, like your game raises to that level of competition. Like you're like, wow, like I didn't even know I had that much in me, but like I do, and like you could take it down to wherever you go and just know you have a little bit more than you think, but when you are practicing with a different team or a different league.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know when I got sent down from the taxi squad, I came back with a little bit more confidence, you know, knowing that I could hang with those guys. I can definitely compete in the lower league from whatever that league was. So yeah, it was fun, and you know, it pushed myself, and I kind of learned a lot about myself on and off the ice, that experience there. So it was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to get into, for this part of the podcast, I want to get into like your junior career a little bit here, your college career, and like your youth days a little bit here. So you grew up in Larkspur, Colorado. So like, what was it like growing up in Colorado and like being involved with the youth game in Colorado?
Yeah, so I actually have a little bit of a later start to hockey. So growing up, I played football, baseball, and soccer, and didn't even try on a pair of skates until I was about 10. So my first time skating was for a squirt B/C tryout. Made the lowest team possible. So started from the bottom there when I was 10. And then just fell in love with the game, with how fast it was and how challenging it was. So then just, you know, started enjoying that, focusing more on that. You know, the other sports kind of dwindled away, and then was fully committed to hockey kind of 12, 13. So I played the Colorado Thunderbirds starting in U12, which was a AAA program there, and then played there all the way up to my 16 year.
Yeah. So what brought you in a goaltending? Because it is because like I love asking goalies this question because it's like the same thing for me. Like, what made you get into that position of goaltending where you're facing rubber that could be aimed at your head, or it could be like where you're facing 90-mile-per-hour shots now? Like, what got you into goaltending?
Yeah, so I have an older sister who's 2 years older than me, and she had a kindergarten friend named Kyle Hayton who had an awesome college career at St. Lawrence and Wisconsin, and then played a couple years pro. So they were best buddies, and I was always tagging along. So me and him became inseparable, and he was a goalie at a young age. So every time we'd go over to his house, it was just endless hours of basement floor hockey and stuff like that. So used his hand-me-down gear forever until I was probably 14 or 15. So I didn't even know any different. You know, all I knew about hockey besides watching it on TV was playing in the basement with him and his dad. So you know, he was a goalie, and I was like, I'm following your footsteps here, brother. Like, I'll be a goalie too. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially like since like literally your sister's friend like brought you into being a goaltender and all that. Like, how'd your first game as a goalie go? Like, I know a lot of people either said they got ripped 10-0 or like they got a shutout. Like, what happened with your first game?
Oh boy, I can't even remember. I do know though, it's kind of a funny story here. So Kyle was he had a roller hockey game. I think it was even before I had ever played. It was probably like the year before I started playing. He had a roller hockey game, and we were playing basement hockey downstairs, like couple hours before his game, and we had lost, and I went to take a slap shot at the tennis ball, and I went back and hit him in the face with my stick and gave him stitches, so he had to miss the game. And his dad's like, all right, well, now you're playing. And I was like, what do you mean? So his roller hockey team was pretty stacked, so I just stood in the net with the gear on that he put on. I didn't even know what I was doing, and I don't think I got a single shot, and they won like 8-0. So I guess technically the first game was a shutout, but not by anything of my means. I had no influence on the game, but I think that was probably the first game I remember being in there. So it was a funny one.
Yeah, that's a funny story, especially like since your friend's dad was like, yeah, you're going in because you made my son get stitches, so you're gonna be the goalie that either gets shelled or you're gonna come away with the win somehow. And you came away with the win.
His mom, I think, took him to the hospital, and his dad took me to the rink. And right after that, we got back home, and I know he was mad at me because he's like, "You took my shutout," and I was like, "Sorry, buddy, it's mine now." So it was a good time though. And we're still great friends, so it was a fun memory.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, was that like one of your favorite memories from youth hockey growing up, or like what were some other youth memories that you had?
Yeah, that was definitely up there. I know another awesome one was when I was 12 playing for the Thunderbirds. We went to the Quebec tournament, like that big international tournament, and we our team, we did billets. So me and Brandon Carlo, who's now at the Boston Bruins, we were billets with this awesome family, and got to get a little taste of the lifestyle of being from Quebec there. We played some outdoor hockey with the kids, had all the poutine, the custom foods from Quebec and everything like that. So I think that was a memory that will stick with me forever. We did the pin trading, all that stuff. So it was definitely kind of the highlight of my youth career there.
Yeah, and like, what was the level in Quebec a lot higher than like everywhere else? Like, I know Canadian hockey is a bit different than United States hockey. Like, how was Canadian hockey over there?
Yeah, it was awesome. I can't remember who ended up winning the tournament that year, but I remember getting to play those teams where you're like, oh my gosh, these guys are probably awesome. But same time, we had a pretty good team out of Colorado there with the Thunderbirds, so I think we held our own. But it was fun to just play different countries, different states, just get the whole taste of the world of hockey up there. So it was a blast.
Yeah, so like, how was your experience with the Thunderbirds organization, especially like when you're growing up throughout that organization? You're going from 12 years old to 16U, like you said. Like, what was that whole experience like, and just being able to grow within that organization?
It was awesome. I think I obviously am pretty biased here, but I think Colorado Thunderbirds back in the day and even now are one of the top tier 1 elite programs in the nation. So we had really competitive teams every year. We were pretty dominant in the Colorado hockey AAA program there. So it was fun. And, I met a lot of lifelong friends, some best friends, that I'll be in their weddings. I already have been, they'll be in mine. So stuff like that. Just because to travel and get some good competition, we had to go out of state. I remember going, I think, out of state 11 to 13 times a year. So it was almost every weekend. So wasn't so much high school friends. It was more just the hockey friends, but I wouldn't change that for anything. We had a pretty good 96 birth year group there who's gone to play a lot of professional hockey and college hockey and stuff. So it's awesome because every summer we normally get back and everyone trains in Colorado, and just, it's just lifelong friends at that point.
Yeah, especially like when you grow up with guys from like youth hockey all the way up until like now in the pros, like when you're going through like youth hockey, like all the road trips and everything, like when you're playing shinny hockey in the hotel, like those are some of like the best memories that you have, especially at the youth level. And then just to grow up with them and see where they go is like, also an incredible feeling as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, because I lived kind of central in Colorado and Castle Rock, and then a couple guys were down in Colorado Springs. We practiced up in Denver. So me, Brandon Carlo, and Dylan Gambrell, we would carpool up to practice every day. So just even some of those car rides and stuff like that, or the dinners after practice, going to like Chipotle or whatever with the guys, just all messing around. So like you said, the hotel memories. So those are the things that kind of stick near to me. So it was a fun time for sure.
Yeah, that's unreal. So then you go throughout youth hockey, AAA, and then you go into junior hockey where you start your junior career with the Chicago Steel in the USHL, the United States Hockey League, where you played in 23 games your first year there. It's like, what was the process like to get signed in the USHL and play for the Steel?
Yeah, it was actually kind of wild. So going into that year, I wasn't drafted, so never been drafted in any league or anything. Which, it's, at the end of the day, draft is what it is.
Yeah.
Guys are either going to be good and make teams, or they're not, and they're going to fizzle out. So it didn't really bother me, but had a couple invites and decided that I was going to go and try out for the Chicago Steel. They had one goalie returning. So I knew there was one spot available, and after a 16-year to go in and be a goalie in that league as a senior in high school was pretty tough thing to do. But I remember I had a great camp. I think I had 5 shutouts in 6 games, and the coach came up to me after that 6th game and he was like, "Who are you? Like, where'd you come from?" And I was like, "I'm from Colorado." And he's like, "All right, well, you made the team." So it was pretty surreal feeling there. I remember like calling my mom, or I think she was probably with me. I was like, "Yeah, I made the team." And she's like, "What does that mean?" It's like, "Well, I'm gonna go live with a billet family in Chicago." And she was in tears, but they were happy tears. She was super excited for me. So it was a bit of a whirlwind there, but I enjoyed it. I loved my time with Chicago for the year and a half before getting traded to Waterloo for a year and a half. I think the USHL is a premier league and definitely a top feeder into college hockey, which at that age was kind of the dream to make it to the college ranks and then have a good stab at college hockey and just see where hockey can take me after that. So I think without my time in USHL, there's no way that would have happened.
Yeah, and like that just proves that like it's all about the journey and not the destination, because like you just go on throughout like this journey through youth hockey, junior hockey, college hockey, and now pro. And it's like you never know what's gonna happen. So it's all about like just really like being where your feet are and like enjoying every moment, because it is all about the journey and not the destination. Like it's nice to get to the highest level of the destination, but like throughout like all that, like it is about the journey and like the baby steps that you go through, everything that just get to where you are.
Absolutely. I loved what you said there with just being where your feet are, because even I think the guys who signed that long franchise year deal, like 6, 7 years in the NHL, they're still putting in the work every day. So there's no top of the game until kind of you retire and you say, all right, like I can look back on it and say I made it. But it's an honest game, which is what everyone wants, because you got to earn it every single time you step on the ice.
Yeah, nothing is given to you. Like you gotta learn, you gotta earn everything that you put into it, and everything you get. Like it's earned. It's not just handed to you.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's one of the fun things, because then you get to put in the work. And, if you have a great day, you're like, all right, I'm awesome, but you don't get too high, because then, the next day you might have a bad day. And you just got to kind of find that even keel line and just ride it and just try and, take one step forward at a time.
Yeah, exactly. It's a grind, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. And like if you really like enjoy the grind and like have fun with it, like you're gonna want to put in the work and just do everything you can and get to that highest level.
Absolutely. Try and enjoy the process. Like you said, it's a grind, and you find fun in doing that. And, I think it beats almost any desk job. I think I can confidently say that. So, it's I think the best job in the world.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. But you played 23 games that first year with the Steel, going 11-5-1. So like, what made that first year of junior so successful, especially like since you did have a lot of success that first year and like you just got right into it and was able to have that success that came with being new into the league and just learning throughout like all the experiences you have experienced throughout that year.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a while ago, but I think just going into the season with the mindset of I have nothing to lose. There's not really any high expectations for me. I'm a young goalie in the league. I'm just going to use it as a year to, play my game and just kind of play free, like we kind of talked about earlier, and ended up leading to some success there. So I think just getting used to that junior lifestyle, balancing school and hockey for the first time, because I was a senior in high school. So me and my roommate Robbie Jackson would go to class from about 8 a.m. till noon, and then buzz over to the rink and get a full day of practice in, and then crawl into bed at night and do the whole thing over again. So it was a fun time, and definitely kind of got to the point where I'm like, all right, this hockey thing's pretty serious, but I love it, and let's just see where we can go from here.
Yeah. So what was that balance like, especially like you talked about school hockey, and then like you're also like that's the time to have like a social life and everything. So like what was that balance like, and just to be able to just go to school, go to hockey, and then do whatever, like if you have homework or anything, as well as just get that recovery in, especially since you are playing juniors at the tier 1 junior level.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just time management, but I think my academics are something I pride myself on. I take care of the work in the classroom, which kind of allowed me to not have to have that in the back of the mind when it got to the rink. It was just straight hockey mindset, kind of flip the switch there and enjoy being around the guys and that whole lifestyle there. And then after my first year, I was out of high school, and that's kind of when you get the full on junior hockey lifestyle where it's just the rink and a lot of guy time, a lot of video games, hanging out with the boys, so stuff like that. But it was a blast, and I have some great memories and great friendships from my junior days as well.
Absolutely. It's like, what would you say was like the biggest takeaway that you learned from juniors that you're able to take away into college going into Notre Dame?
I think kind of like that thing I touched on, time management, being able to kind of flip switches on and off when it's time to put in the work and put the mind towards school. It was time to do that. And then when it was time to relax, and time to play hockey, it was time to play hockey. Because obviously going to a university like Notre Dame, the education there is pretty demanding, but being able to be good at time management and kind of delegate your efforts into certain situations kind of led me to be successful there.
Yeah, absolutely. So you spent a year and a half with the Chicago Steel before you got traded to the Waterloo Blackhawks. Like that was like your first time of getting like traded. So like what was that whole process like, especially like when you are like playing very well for the Steel and then you all of a sudden get traded and moved to Waterloo?
Yeah, it was a wild ride actually. So I remember, I think in late December, early January, I made the World Junior A Challenge for USA. So we were in Canada. We ended up winning gold there, and then a couple weeks later, I got back to Chicago, and we were on a road trip to NTDP in Michigan to play the development team. And we had a game Friday and a game Saturday. And after the game Friday, I didn't play, and the coach texted me about 10 o'clock at night. He goes, "Hey, come down to the lobby." And I was like, "Okay, like, he's probably gonna tell me I'm playing tomorrow. Like, let's go." I get down there. He goes, "Yeah, I just traded you to Waterloo, Iowa. You are going to be on a flight tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So best of luck." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm 1 year out of high school at this point. I'm just like, I didn't even ever think of being traded, just because it never even crossed my mind. Obviously, youth hockey, you're not getting traded or anything. It's my first taste of like, wow, like here we go. So hopped on the plane there, made 2 connecting flights, met the team in Sioux Falls, and played that night. And I think we won 2-1 or 3-2. So it was crazy 24 hours. But luckily, I had a couple buddies on that Waterloo team that I had just met at the Junior A Challenge there, which made the transition a little easier. So it was definitely a whirlwind, but it was all just rolling with the punches. Kind of cool story now to look back on it and just be like, yeah, I got traded at 10:30 at night when the coach came out of the bar and said, "Yeah, you're gone, buddy." So
Yeah. So and then you like you said, you played that like same day that you got traded and got sent to Waterloo. So like, how dead were your legs, especially taking 2 connection flights and then having to play a game?
yeah, I was exhausted. I flew from, I think, a small airport in Michigan to somewhere in like North Dakota or South Dakota, and then another little small connector to Sioux Falls there. And I think I got into the hotel at maybe like 2 or 3, and texted one of the guys I knew, Brock Besser, and I think I might have taken a pregame nap on his hotel room floor. So I tried to catch a couple hours of shut eye there, and then I think at that point I was just running on adrenaline. I was just meeting all the new guys and stuff, and that game for me was a wash. But we went out and the team played great, and we got the win, so it was fun.
Yeah, see, that's even better that you got the win. You gained a little more confidence in the boys, especially like when you are a new guy and you're playing that night. Like you want to win because that boosts your confidence as well as like the confidence the boys have in you.
Yeah, absolutely. Get off on a good start there, good foot. So it was a better bus ride home than it would have been if, we went and got shelled.
Yeah, absolutely. But you played 40 games that year between the Steel and the Blackhawks, with 28 games with Waterloo after you got traded from the Steel. So, well, was that like the first time that you really like learned the importance of recovery, especially when you are playing 40 plus games in a season?
Yeah, I think so. Because I know my first year in the Steel, it wasn't too heavy of a workload because we had another older goalie there who kind of probably did the heavy lifting there. And then once I got to Waterloo, it was kind of my net there. So I was day in and day out kind of playing games, getting the quality reps in practice. So worked with the strength trainer down there to kind of get a good little post game routine to try and keep the body as fresh as I can. And I wish my body felt like it did back at that age now, but it's okay. Just putting a little extra work and it still can hang in there. So it was fun, getting to play a lot of games, and we went on a pretty big tear there of winning a lot of games consecutively. So that's always fun when you're winning. So it was a great year.
Yeah, for sure. That's always fun. But then you go into the next year where you play 38 games, 9 playoff games included, or 38 regular season games, 9 playoff games, and you also sported the A on your jersey throughout that year. So, like, what was it like to be named assistant captain, just especially as a goalie when you're not like when you don't usually have a letter on your jersey? Like, how cool is it to have that letter on your jersey, especially like that last year of juniors?
Yeah, it was really cool. I kind of pride myself on being a good locker room guy, talking to anyone who wants to talk, just mess around, keeping it lighthearted in there. I'm not the most serious guy ever. There's obviously time to dial it in and stuff, but I just try and be lighthearted and fun to be around. And everywhere I've been, the guys have seemed to kind of respond to that pretty well. So it was a cool opportunity to kind of get my first taste of being a leadership role and a kind of more important role and have a voice in the locker room. But I loved it, and I think it helped me on and off the ice a lot.
We love a good glue guy and guy that will be able to just like know when to take things seriously, when not to, and just have fun, because like that, like we were saying earlier, hockey is fun, so you just gotta enjoy it and roll with the punches, like you said before.
Absolutely, you got to have someone that can keep it light in the room, because you can't be too serious all the time, or everyone's gonna go crazy.
Exactly. So then after your last year in Waterloo, you go into college in a NCAA Division I, where you go to University of Notre Dame. So what was the process like to get to University of Notre Dame? Like, where did they recruit you before? Was it just like an open trial that you went to? Like, what was the process there?
No, so it was that second year of junior. So the guy got traded to Waterloo. The second half of the season, we went on an absolute tear. With the team success came individual success. I started getting pretty highly recruited from a lot of D1 programs. I'm sorry. I guess my AirPods might be dying here, but we'll see if they can hold on. So yeah, I went on a couple of visits. Went on a visit to Penn State, Notre Dame, University of Nebraska, Omaha, and then Colorado College. And once I went to Notre Dame, I was like, wow, this place can't be topped, especially with the academics and the athletics. And it's a perfect marriage between the two. And the facilities there, the lifelong connections you can make there, just the alumni network. It was just kind of a no-brainer at that point. So yeah, I made the commitment to Notre Dame before my last year of the USHL, and was really excited to get to the college ranks and to start college at that point.
Yeah. So then you go into Notre Dame, where you play in one game your freshman year, and then you played 37, 35, 33 games over the course of your next 3 years. So how hard was that freshman year, only just getting in one game, and what did you do to help give yourself like the best chance you can going into your sophomore year to get games?
Yeah, so that freshman year came in, obviously they had Cal Peterson there, who's an absolute stud, incredible goalie, but even better guy. So he was the captain of the team, had a C on the jersey. So I knew going in there wasn't going to be much ice time, but I kind of hedged the bets there, hoping that he would, at best case for me, just be a 1 year there because he was a junior, and then he'd signed to go pro, which I think he was kind of ready to go pro after maybe his freshman or sophomore year. But there's no reason to rush it. So got in one period against Arizona State. I think it was the second game of the weekend or second game of the season, and then from there on out, it was Cal's show. But he's an incredible guy, so he was super easy to root for, and we became super close that year, and just kind of was trying to be a sponge around him, learn everything he was doing on and off the ice, because I think he's one of the ultimate pros there, and how he handles himself and how he can handle a locker room. So was just trying to be a sponge, like I said, and use it as an opportunity to focus on my academics as well, because going from 2 years off of high school right into a university like Notre Dame, which is very taxing on the brain at times, you have the study halls and everything like that, but that freshman year of not having too much pressure on the ice allowed me to really focus on my academics. And then came sophomore year, I was ready to hit the ground running when he left, and I had a great opportunity to try and win that net over, and I ended up doing that and just kind of running with it.
Yeah, so you're back up to Cal Peterson, and like you're able to just learn from him. So like what did you learn from him, especially like going into that college level? Like it can be a lot at times. So what did Cal teach you that really like brought your attention to everything and just had just helped you grow from your freshman year onto your senior year?
I think something Cal does great is he can definitely flip the switch. He's the ultimate locker room guy, super funny. He's normally running the aux cord, but when he steps on the ice, it's you versus him, and it's, he'll beat you at any cost. And, he's a fiery competitor, but, I respect the hell out of him, and someone I look up to. And so just watching him compete and battle day in and day out. And then when you get off the ice, he's back to Cal, the funny, easygoing, just spotlight kind of guy. So just seeing that and being able to realize that you can have a good balance and, enjoy being an athlete. So I think that was kind of the one cool thing I kind of took away from him being there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then you go into your sophomore year where you learn from Cal that freshman year, and you go into your sophomore year where you're playing 37 games, 27, 8-1, 1.94 goals against average, 944 save percent. So what made you so successful that sophomore year, especially since it was your first like real shot of college hockey?
Yeah, so going into that year, they recruited another incredible goalie, Dylan St. Cyr, out of the national team program. So me and him came in, we had an incredibly healthy competition. We're great friends to this day. I talk to him a couple times a month, but I think that kind of let us both elevate our game to a new level. And at Notre Dame, the first couple weekends of the season are non-conference games. So me and him just went back and forth, splitting the weekends, and we both had some success. And then once Big Ten, conference play started, our coach said, "All right, boys, like you both had great little starts here to the season. So if you win your game, you stay. If not, we'll roll the other goalie." And we ended up going on a 16-game win streak there to start the season and start Big Ten play. So definitely at that point, I was playing with just unlimited confidence and stuff, and kind of just rode it into the whole season there. And we had an incredible group. We went all the way to the finals that year and lost to Duluth. But I think I attest a lot of that season to Dylan, and just how healthy of a competition we were on the ice. Every day we were pushing ourselves to become better together and individually. So I don't think I would kind of be where I am at that year, and even at this year, without such a good goalie partner that year.
Yeah, that's unreal, especially since you had a fantastic year that year, and so did Dylan, and you also got a ton of awards that season. You're NCAA Big Ten All Tournament team, best goaltender, Big Ten champion, first All-Star team, player of the year, regular season champion, tournament MVP, first All-American team, Mike Richter Award winner, and then you're also a Hobie Baker Award finalist. So like, what made that like year so good for you, especially since it was all that, like all the accolades are there, and just having like that like team first mentality, especially like with your goalie partners as well?
Yeah, I honestly think the thing that made that year so special was the group of guys we had off the ice. I think that's the closest team I've ever been on. every single weekend the guys were together. No matter what, we were just as close as you can get. So I think that translated onto the ice because we were an absolute powerhouse that year. And at the end of the day, we kind of felt invincible. Like, we're brothers here. No one's going to beat us. And the team success obviously leads to individual success. So none of those accolades would have came without the team in front of me. But it was an awesome experience and kind of a whirlwind, just a fairy tale story there. And, getting one shot away from winning it all that year was a crazy experience, and something I probably will never forget. The guys on that team and the memories we have from that year were just once in a lifetime.
Yeah. And so you were Big Ten champions that year during the regular season. So like what was that experience like, and just being able to win the tournament championship?
Yeah, I think we were so confident ourselves. We were probably ranked number 1 in the country almost the entire year after that kind of tear. We went on to start Big Ten play. We just kind of every weekend going into the weekend, we were like, all right, it doesn't matter who we're playing. We're just going to absolutely roll them. And when you get a team with that kind of confidence and the skill we had on our team and that mindset going into the game, it's pretty lethal. So, we were fortunate to get it done in the Big Ten tournament there and win the championship and the regular season and all of that. But I think it was just the group we had off the ice. We were all just absolute brothers, just as close as you can get.
Yeah, and like the Big Ten is a huge conference, like with a lot of powerhouse teams. So like just that just goes to prove that if the boys are all like buzzing together and everything, like it doesn't matter like what you're ranked, like you could just if you can put something together, you can put something together and go win a championship, and that's what you guys did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, strength in numbers there. It didn't matter who was the hero that night. It was just all team first. So it was awesome. I don't think anyone felt pressure like, oh man, like this guy's got to score tonight, we're going to lose. It was more just like, all right, we're going out there. Someone's going to be the hero. Someone's going to have a sick game. And then we're just going to go and party after and enjoy being a college student, So I think it was one of the best years of my life, just with that group of guys and the success we had, individually and as a team was just top notch.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like when everything is going right for you guys, like go out, party, whatever. Like if you're winning games, like it doesn't matter. Like just go out there, have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's could do no wrong that year. Everything was just falling into place for everyone. We'd win games we probably shouldn't, and then we would just blow teams out. So it was just nonstop fun. And I'm looking back at it, it seems like it all happened so fast, but it was some incredible memories.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's unreal. That's amazing. But those final 2 years, you played 35 and 33 games at University of Notre Dame. You're also assistant captain that last year, your senior year. So what were those 2 years like when you're getting pro teams looking at you, and are you worried about pro teams, or are you just worried about closing on those last 2 seasons and seeing where it goes from there?
Yeah, I think after my sophomore year, when we came so close to winning the program's first national championship, with ultimately losing in the finals there against Minnesota Duluth. Going back that year, those last 2 years were a no-brainer. It felt like we had a mission still on the list there to check off. So it was kind of just full steam ahead to try and win that national championship, and we definitely had the group of guys in the room to do it. But just like sports, teams that should win shouldn't, and teams that shouldn't win should. So but that's one of the fun parts of sports. It's anyone's game. So it was a blast, and being able to be an assistant captain at a university and program like Notre Dame my senior year was definitely something special, to not only me but my family. It was an incredible honor, and got to share it with the other captains and with my best friends. So just kind of having that leadership role and voice in the room was awesome.
Yeah, and your senior year, you were an All-American. So how much did that mean to you and your family, especially when like you go all through all 4 years of college hockey, and then your senior year to be named All-American?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think back to the days of my mom taking me to the rink early and then staying after, because of course I was one of the last ones out of the locker room every night. Just the endless sacrifices my parents and sisters had made for me, and just kind of being able to experience the success I had together with them. And I know senior night was a special night for me. I had the whole family, extended family in the building and stuff, just to look up and see all those people who supported me and continue to support me was something special, and know that kind of they're the reason I'm here.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff right there. But to finish off this episode, I have a few more questions that I want to ask you. So do you have any tips for goaltenders looking to get to that next level?
I think just, try and be the best version of yourself, and go to the rink every day and maximize every opportunity you can get. There's going to be drills in practice that you're like, this is so stupid. Why are we doing this? There's not too many coaches that have goalie friendly practices and stuff, but, try and find something you can work on in every drill, every skate, every practice, just to keep on getting better, because it's a journey. It's not like once you make it, you're there for good. You just always got to keep on putting in that work, and just day in and day out, just having that mindset to try and get better, because at the end of the day, it's you versus you, and you're only going to go as far as you allow yourself. So I think just that's probably it for the advice there.
Those are that's some great advice and some great tips for everyone. Like, it is like you versus you. Like, what are you going to do to get better for that day? Like, you could either just go with the flow of things, or you can actually just put your head down and just work on skating, work on crease movements, just anything like that, just to get that 1% better every single day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, challenging yourself to hold your feet as long as possible, or get in those pre-shot scans. If it's a 2-on-0 drill, be checking off every single time it comes down. All right, soft guy is a one-timer option, so if he gets that puck, it could come off quick. Or all right, soft guy is on a strong hand, so he's going to catch that puck and release. So just those little things, just if you're doing that every day, then it translates to when you get in the pipes for a game. It's kind of second nature, and it's just instincts at that point, because you kind of put in that groundwork and do the dirty work day in and day out.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. So my next question is what's your game day routine? Whether it be home or away, what are you doing on a game day?
Not too superstitious, just kind of keep it light. Obviously, if we have a morning skate, go out there for a twirl, but don't look too deep into it. If I have a bad skate or whatever, it's just more to get the body loose, get the mind going, just see some pucks and stuff. And then normally get a good pregame meal in, try and shut her down for a little bit, get a little nap in there. And then once I get to the rink, I'm pretty light too, get some soccer in, mess with the boys, have my little tennis ball routine and stuff like that. But, never head down, just straight dialed. To me, it's more just keeping it lighthearted, seeing how the boys are feeling, just, talk about the game, and then just go out there and have fun.
Yeah, gotta love a little two touch before warmies. Those are
absolutely,
especially with the boys. Those are fun times of just messing with the boys and just playing two touch.
Right. Yeah, we'll see if rusty after the off season here. The first couple weeks are always fun to see who's still got it, who's a little rusty. You can tell who had the tough off season.
Yeah, it'll come back within the first couple weeks for sure.
Yeah.
And then my final question is, what's your favorite pump up song? You're getting a lift in, you're listening to this before pregame warmies. What are you listening to?
Oh boy. I don't know. I have one in specific. I like Drake a lot. Drake always brings some heat, but I also don't mind just some EDM. Something that's just a good beat in the background. Nothing too crazy flowing with the drops. Yeah, just something you can bob your head to, and just kind of keep it light, and just just have some good tunes on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Whatever gets you going. But that's unreal. But Cale, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to following your career the rest of the way, and good luck this season with the Wolves.
Absolutely, bro. Thanks for having me on. Take care.
Yeah, no problem.